Hey guys, my name is Heather Lindsey.
And my name is Cornelius Lindsey.
And I'm so excited that you landed on Life with the Lindseys.
This is so exciting. This gives us an opportunity to share our life with yours.
Yes, we're going to be talking about everything from entrepreneurship to ministry to your purpose to why you are here, family, parenting, relationships, marriage, sex, you name it. We are talking about it.
So thank you so much for joining us today with Life with the Lindseys. Enjoy it.
Kick off the shoes and relax your feet. Body on down to the...
Are we doing that this morning?
Yup.
Really?
Yup.
Welcome to another episode of Life with the Lindseys. I'm so excited. We heard so much amazing feedback about our last
amazing. They were amazing for you. They didn't care too much for mine. They said I was misogynistic and it was toxic masculinity. Oh, the snowflakes are mad.
Oh gosh, babe, really?
And I don't care about them being mad. That's the issue, though. I feel like people have not learned how to disagree respectfully.
Agreed.
And that's okay. It's like if you don't agree, then whatever. What you cannot take away is the idea that men feel the way they feel. And for those of you who haven't listened to the last podcast, I would encourage you to go back and listen to that one and the rest of them. We talked about sex and what men and women wish they knew about each other. And I said a couple of things that men have been saying. And I had brothers who's reaching out to me like, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you talked about it. I'm glad you did this. And so it was like, hey, y'all, I mean, you mad or not? You mad or not?
I feel like women, we don't like to hear the truth like that. Like, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear that you want to be a leader of our home, and we want to hear much differently. Like, we don't like the truth in that raw form. And that's why I believe men just lie or just have, they might have a bunch of different women.
Hold on.
That is their mask to cover up the truth about who they really are.
Hold on. So you're saying that the men need to lie in order to cover up what now?
Right, because they don't feel like they can tell women the truth. So then they cover up with multiple women. But what's interesting is in Genesis 2, God created a helper just right for the man, right? He said it's not good for a man to be alone. So he created a helper that's perfectly fit for him. And what's interesting is that God didn't remove 5 ribs. He removed 1.
Hold up. When do we get into a conversation about multiple bays?
I'm just saying, because the last time we talked about that, you said you have a friend that has 5, not a friend or a guy you're mentoring, that has 5 women, and he picks, he's not sure which one he wants because he's dating this one and he wishes he could take bits and pieces of all of them. But what I'm saying is there is 1 rib that is perfectly fit for him that they'll come together and develop. Okay. So for a man to say to a woman that I don't need just 1, that is contradicting what God says.
Yes. And we also need to say this, though. I mean, let's throw this stigma out there that it's not just men who have 5 different, ribs on the side.
Wow.
But the sisters doing it too. The ladies are doing the same thing. It's just like the misconception when people talk about pornography. They say it's just a man's issue, or they say it's a predominantly men's issue. But studies are beginning to show that more women are engaging in pornographic, material than men. And so women are doing the same thing. I don't think it is a gender issue as much as it is just an individual's issue. So, I hear what you're saying, but I think a lot of women out there, they lying too, because a lot of women, they courting a few on the side.
Now, let me tell you this. I don't like to place blame because I'm a huge...
Oh, so you don't want to place blame. But you just place blame on the brothers.
I'm just saying. Okay. I'm saying I'm a huge advocate, babe, of accepting responsibility because I feel like we need to do that. And it's key. But I'm just telling you, I ain't saying it's right, but I'm saying it's real. But I'm saying that...
Oh, that's you got to tweet that. I ain't saying it's right, but it's real.
It's real. The women are only following their leaders.
Oh, here we...
I'm just saying.
We're not doing this.
Baby,
we're not doing this today.
I'm just saying.
We just talked about submission. Last week?
Baby, what I'm saying is women feel like, why do I have to submit and get under you when you got 5? You know what I'm saying?
But we ain't even married yet.
I agree.
And you know what? To throw this out there, I am not saying that him having 5 is okay. In my conversations with guys who I know who have multiples, my conversation with them is like, bro, at some point, this is not just toxic for them, but this is going to be extremely toxic for you. because you're carrying, 5 different relationships, is going to be extremely toxic for you because you're giving yourself to 5 different people. And the idea here is that I'm going to figure out which one of them is the most compatible for me while I'm kind of dating all of them. Well, that in itself is dangerous because here's the thing, you don't really know what you want. You may think you do, but I believe that, we find the truth of what we really need because God is the one who leads us and guides us to that. And I mean, hey, if I was good at being the Lord over my own life, then I wouldn't need the Lord.
Yeah.
So, and I have jacked my life up enough to know that I can't do it by myself.
The question is for men and women that are courting multiple people on the side, how do you have time for that? You know what I'm saying?
You can make some time.
I'm just saying, but how can we be totally, I think it's a distraction. How can you be totally focused on what God wants you to do if you're entertaining all of these people? You can't be. You can't be.
I mean, it's like, I had that period in my life that was, toxic. And I was like, I had and it was.
Let's talk about how you had different women coming over to wash your dishes and do your laundry.
So you just talked about it. Why you want me to talk about it? You want these people to hate me more?
Baby, first of all that matters is I love you forever.
I don't care. I'm talking. I don't care nothing about anything else. But yeah, I mean, so I the reason why I say I'm not talking about it because in many ways I empathize. I understand the concept of where they're going with because it is difficult, trying to manage. Especially, it's the old player rules, like you don't do in the same state and all that kind of stuff. I kind of broke all the rules because mine was like, they didn't go to the church. One of them went to the church that I used to go to. So it was like, I broke the rules. Luckily, I didn't get caught. But it was still extremely toxic. Yeah, it was before you. It was when I got out of, a serious relationship with a woman who I thought I was going to marry. And then in that period, like between that and you, it was like during that period where I was just like, all right, I thought I was in something serious, now I just want to kind of play around. I want to have fun. And then like you came and then that's when God was like, ugh.
Oh, what was that?
Like, I'm not like, ugh, but it was like, no, it was like, ugh.
I need you to expound on that.
Well, God he was showing me just how my lifestyle was not befitting for where he wanted me to go.
Come on.
So he was basically saying like, ugh, you had to spit this out. This ain't what it is, bruh. I don't think God says bruh, but he might say bruh.
He might say bruh. Probably.
For me, that'd be really dope. We got to heaven and God was like, what's up, bruh?
Like,
I think
what
that
up,
would be so dope. People are probably like, oh my God, please be more respectful with my God. I'm like, go eat some Lucky Charms and be quiet.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So I do. I empathize with the brothers.
Yeah.
I understand the concepts that the women are bringing up, but I think that we have to have these very honest conversations about what people are saying and stop living in this fairy tale world that people aren't talking about it. Because people, we talking about it. People are going to brunch on Sundays, drinking your little mimosas after church, and you're sitting down and women are talking about like, I don't know why I'm single. I don't know why I can't find this. I don't know why I can do this. And it's people aren't talking about it. Like I believe that. I mean, I'm not going to say that because I really hate that saying people aren't talking about it because people are talking about it. I think that what we have to do is we just have to be more honest and more open with what we're hearing so that we can kind of have an idea of what's going on out there.
Yeah, that's good. So you said something interesting about you're sitting down, you're eating, you're drinking your tea. I'm going to say tea after church. I'm going to use the word tea instead of mimosa.
I mean, they're drinking mimosas, bro. So.
Okay, let's just hope they're drinking tea.
They drinking mimosas.
Something I learned when I was single, I remember the Lord just really challenging my type. Because I remember when I was single, I was like, all right, God, I'm only going to marry this type of man.
Yeah.
And I was not willing to adjust off of that type at first. You know what I mean? Because I just felt like, all right, God, this is my idea of what I want a husband based on my dysfunctional relationships in the past. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I was kind of waiting for that particular person to come along. And I remember the Holy Spirit telling me to take my list and become my list. And I'm like, well, dang.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I was talking about, I want a man that is out of debt, but my tail was not out of debt. That's the real, right?
Yeah.
I want my man to have a 6-pack, but I got about a 4-pack. I ain't got a 6-pack. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I begin to stop looking at everybody else, but you need to be this to serve me. You need to have this. You need to have that. Instead, I said, okay, let me take an honest look at my own self. I want a man that can cook, but I couldn't cook.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to cook. You know what I mean? So I feel like we need to take our expectations and be realistic.
That's why when I said in the last podcast, I think, Riled a couple feathers was there's some relationships they become extremely parasitic.
Yeah.
And it's not just men saying, that they don't want to be married because the relationship is parasitic. I believe that there are women out there who also feel like, well, I don't necessarily want to be in this relationship because it is parasitic, because this part, I'm getting in this relationship not because of what I can bring to it, but because of what I can take from it.
Suck out of it.
And if we can be honest, we live in a world full of opportunists. A lot of the single men that I know, when they say, man, PC, I went on a date last week. And I'm like, bet, how was it? And he's like, man, I can already tell. Cause like the first question she asked is like, what do I do? And it's like she was like talking down because of my car and this and that. And it's like, he felt in that moment that it was parasitic. And that happens a lot where they feel like people are trying to get into a relationship, not because of commitment, not because, they have a vision and something they can bring together, but because of what I can get out of it. Like, I'm in debt. You're not in debt. You can kind of save me out of my debt. You have a great job, you have a great company, you have this stuff, so you can kind of help me. On the flip side of that, people, they've asked before when we've done, relationship conferences and stuff, they'll say, well, I hear what you're saying, but isn't that the idea? You want to find somebody who kind of has the package, who has a total package. Well, that can also be deceiving.
Yeah.
Because you can find somebody who has a lot of money. You can find somebody who has a big house. You can find somebody who has multiple cars, but that person could have an anger issue and could knock you upside your head
and kill you.
Dragging you with your hair all across that big house. Because those things, it's like those things that people usually look for, that parasites typically look for, can be troubling. Like it's like a parasite going and jumping on, trying to suck the blood out of an animal that's full of a virus. It's like that animal may look like the blood's good, but it's sucking blood that's going to ultimately kill you. And so I think that, instead of people going around saying, I'm trying to find the perfect person, it's like I need to find somebody who has really good patterns, because patterns matter.
Yeah.
Patterns are wealth. Like if you found somebody who is babe, it's like, if I'm looking at somebody and this person may not have a lot of money, but this person has an extremely healthy pattern of hard work. I've seen this person lose a job, but then become entrepreneurial, and still continue to make money. That's a good pattern that people should look for.
It's funny, as you were talking, I wrote down the word vision, and I want to jump in and talk about it in a second.
Hey, babe, I know you've been using this new feminine care product called Lola.
Yes, I love it. I'm always looking for natural, organic ingredients and items. And what I love about Lola is that the FDA doesn't require brands to disclose a list of the ingredients that are in their feminine care products. So what you're putting in you is important, ladies. What you're using during your time of the month is very important. I love that it's founded by women for women. And I love that they offer cleansing wipes, pads, liners, and all that good stuff.
Lola is a female-founded company offering a line of organic cotton tampons, pads, liners, and they now even offer sex products too.
Come on.
Now, for 30% off your first month's subscription, visit mylola.com and enter Life with L when you subscribe. Again, 30% off your first month's subscription. Visit mylola.com and enter Life with L when you subscribe.
Come on. So we're back, and I want to talk about vision. It's something you said when you sit down, and what you said, the woman asked a question, what do you do? Different things like that. I think what the difference was in our relationship is when we met is we talked vision right away. I was able to buy into your vision within 10 minutes of our very first date. Mm-hmm. So I immediately believed in you and believed in what God has called you to do. And not only that, I saw patterns and I saw fruit. But my question to you is, because I want to talk to our married people as well, is that what happens when you see patterns and you see good fruit, but you get married and that man is lazy and he won't get a job and he won't get up and work and he's not doing what he needs to do.
Well, I think that a lot of times that comes down to courage. Courage is best defined as it is a virtue that meets at the apex of conflict. It's like the totality of all the virtues at the apex of conflict. So it's like, when you find yourself in this conflicted situation, then, courage is the combination of perseverance and sacrifice and all those things that comes together. The problem is that a lot of times when men and women face conflict nowadays, they don't have courage because all the courage has been taken from them. So you got to think, this man who had great patterns before, or this woman who had great patterns before, they have proven to themselves that they have the character to withstand and sustain different things, different storms. But the problem is that now they've gotten into a series of patterns, into a life pattern where now they don't have the courage to get up. So without the courage to get up, they can't move. So it's like this idea: if all the courage that I have has been sucked out of me, then I don't have the courage to fight. Like, the good thing about David and Goliath is that David had courage. And it was at the apex of conflict where perseverance and sacrifice and hard work and everything that he's done with the lion and the bear and everything, it kind of just came to this cataclysmic moment where he's like, conflict, I got courage to fight. But think if the courage has been taken out of him. So present day for a man, practically, if that man he's had the courage to work and be hard and do the work and be entrepreneurial, but it's like at his job, he just got fired. And then it's like on his business, he's not making enough. And he's probably judging himself by his achievement and things are happening. He doesn't have the courage to keep going. But it's at that point when you're married where you say, I see you lack courage. So now I have to do the work in pouring courage in you. And that's what encouragement is. Encouragement is literally, I take off the top of your head, I'm opening up your heart, and I'm pouring courage in you. Discouragement is the exact opposite. That's nagging. That's why the Bible says, I believe it's 3 times, it says, I'd rather live in the corner of a tin roof than to be in a house with a nagging woman. I'd rather live in the desert than to be in the house with a nagging, contentious wife. What the Bible is saying here is that every time you discourage a person, whether it's a man or a woman, because men nag as well, however you take that courage out, that person doesn't have the courage to keep going. So you find that person finds themselves in very depressive states. They cannot get into the patterns that they've been in, and now it becomes a problem.
It's hard because I think sometimes when we think about marriage, we might have this idea and this perspective that, we're going to be so happy and, then you get into the rut of marriage, right?
Uh-huh.
And you know what I mean? Like kids, work, all this stuff. So then I feel like the woman feels, here we go, another thing that I got to do. You know what I mean? But that's real. Like, I take care of the kids because you're depressed and you need time. I'm cooking dinner. I'm working a 9 to 5. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And now the little energy I got, you want me to take it and pour it into your tail. You know what I mean? I'm tired.
I think that comes down to priorities.
Yeah.
Because in a household, I mean, it's almost the same way. I mean, men look at it different. I think that is one of the strategies of the enemy, to try to get men and women to think so much into how differently that we are, that we begin to compare and contrast ourselves in our mindset.
Yeah.
And then it makes us enemies instead of making us great partners.
Yeah.
Because there are men who feel like, well, you just had the baby and now you care more about the child than you do me. Like, I see people out there now who are like, care about your kids. Don't be worried about that man. And it's like, well, that's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Because when the kids leave the house, now you're going to want the man to be your friend and he don't want you. Why don't you go marry your kids? Leave. But in priorities in a household, which I can't wait to talk about that in our next series at the church, but in priorities in a household, like, my priority in our house is you, and then it's my kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you need courage, I need to put courage in you, and then I can put courage in my kids.
I like it when you put courage in me.
Oh, shuck it. I don't see nothing wrong.
Hey.
So if you like, I got to put courage in you, and then I can't go first to my kids, because one day my kids will leave. My kids in my house, they're visitors, and I remind them of that all the time. our kids are visitors.
Yeah.
They own nothing in
Yeah.
our house. They have the freedom right now to go in the fridge and to do things. They can't touch my food. They can't touch yours. Like, they're visitors.
Yeah.
And when people say, well, I got all this I got to take care of. I got all this I got to take care of because it's out of priority. And I know they're like, well, you don't understand my life. You don't understand that this stuff I got to do. You don't have your priorities straight.
That's real.
Get your priorities in line.
good.
Like, you're saying that your spouse is depressed and they are. They have all the courage taken out of them. And you're trying to handle everything else. Well, handle what's right in front of you first.
Yeah.
Handle what's right there.
Go on a staycation, get away with your spouse, do something, go on a date, go sit in a car, look at each other and just talk to each other.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of married couples who I talk to don't do that and can't do that because they don't like each other.
Oh, that's so sad.
They don't like each other. You got to think if you learn to love what you hang around the most.
Yeah.
If you don't hang around each other a lot,
and you're not going to love each other.
You just, it's like, well, no, I mean, it's just like trash. It's like, or like when you go in a coffee shop, we go sit down in a coffee shop. When I first walk in, the smell is very strong.
Yeah.
But then when I sit down in there for an hour, I don't even smell it anymore. But then I come home and I get around y'all and you're like, oh, you've been at the coffee shop? And I'm like, yeah, I don't even smell it. And you're like, well, I smell it. Because when you sit in trash for so long, you become accustomed to what it smells like.
You know what's interesting? I wonder if our mindset before we're taking the residue and the baggage into our marriage. So when things get hard, when you were dating 5 people, in your head, you just check out of your marriage because now you actually have to develop emotionally in it. You can't just keep jumping from person to person that makes you happy that day. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And so I felt like I did a lot of that before I do. I was very discontent. And I felt like I took some of that residue and baggage into our marriage, and you would feel the pressure and you would say, I can't do anything right because I was never satisfied. And
perfect Penelope.
Perfect. I still am perfect. It's fine. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
I'm kidding, babe. I don't think I'm perfect.
Praise the Lord.
But what I've learned is that I remember spending time with the Holy Spirit, and he was telling me, he said, give your husband the gift of contentment. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop being so crazy. Stop telling him I need this and that. This was like year 2. You acted surprised. We've been married 10 years. This was like year 2 or 3. Oh, is that what we're doing?
I was having a moment over here.
Okay.
I was just
tell me about
having a moment.
Okay. So I just remember the Lord just telling me, like, will you be thankful for anything? So now I make it a point. I'm like, babe, even last night when we were going to bed, I just was like overwhelmed with so much love. And I'm like, I'm so thankful for who you are. I don't want you to be anybody else. I like Cornelius exactly the way he is. And that's who I want.
Come through.
Period. Like,
come through.
Like, I feel like you are designed for me and I am designed for you. And we're going to develop, we're going to learn, we're going to grow, we're going to get better. We're only in year 10. Our marriage is only 10 years old. We're still kids in marriage years. But I just feel like it gets better and it gets sweeter when we die to our flesh, die to who we are, and actually take on the biblical example of what marriage is.
Yeah. And marriage is sacrifice.
Every day.
Husbands, love your wife as Christ will love the church. I mean, he died for the church.
Yeah.
He gave up everything for it. And it's like for real though, I gotta sacrifice. Like that's like Jesus. Like you put the bar kind of high, bro. Like, come on, let's lower this thing down a little bit. Then it's like, wives submit unto your own husbands. So it doesn't say, women submit unto every man. It says wives submit unto your own husbands.
It's real.
As unto the Lord. So, even in that's like submission is not just, I'm just going to submit to this man because he's my husband. You're submitting to him as you do Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like,
and it's voluntarily. It's not something you're forced to do.
Yeah. And that's the hard part, because submission is submission is an act of great strength.
Yeah.
Any fool can rebel, but the strength it takes to submit, woo, my God. So it's tough.
No, I love that. I was reading the Hebrew Greek version, and I was looking up like the word submission and what the head means and all this stuff. And what I found for the head, and I believe I don't know the exact Greek word. I didn't write it down. I don't have it with me. It's upstairs. But what it said when I broke it down was it means they run ahead in the battle. It's like kalapos or something. They run ahead of the battle. So I'm like, wow. So a wife is saying, all right, there's a battle and my husband's running ahead. So now I can willingly come behind him and submit and help him in any way because
That's
he's in
powerful.
the front of the battle. He is facing all the attacks. He's doing all those things.
That's powerful.
Isn't that powerful?
That's powerful.
And I'm coming to help to make sure that my husband is not getting taken out in the battle.
Wow, that's powerful.
Isn't that good?
So you got to think, if you're, because I love war. I love studying war. And it's always those who are on the front line are typically the ones who aren't expected to survive.
Wow.
Because you're on the front line. That means that the enemy combatants are going to come at you first. And it is when you're on the line and the bullets are flying, they're usually going to hit those who are in the front. So you got to imagine that this man is purposed to be in the front the whole time.
He's the head.
In the front.
He's the head.
He's the head.
Yeah.
And
he's running ahead.
And he's taking every fiery dart of the
Come
wicked
on.
one that the Bible talks about. Every fiery dart. They're hitting them. They're hitting them. They're hitting them. They're hitting them. And the woman, she gets an opportunity to have almost a shield, so to speak.
Literally.
To say, well, he's not hitting me, but he's hitting him. And that's how the enemy works, because the enemy wants to get men and women to fight each other to the point that now the woman says, get back. I'll be the head. Then the Bible specifically states that the woman is the weaker vessel.
Yeah.
So now it's like she's trying to get out front to fight.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you sorry. Just get back here. And all his courage is gone. So he's like, I can't even fight anymore. I don't even know how to fight. He's gotten to the point, he's like, I'm not even a David anymore. I just kind of put my armor down. I put my rocks down. I put everything down. I'm not even fighting. So now it gets dangerous. And she is standing in front and she's trying to fight. And then the narrative is made, there ain't no more good men. And all the good men are gone. And don't no man want to fight for me. And don't no man want to do this. I've heard people say, well, we're all the men who going to fight for me. I need somebody to fight for me. And I think that is innate within us as men to say, I need to be out in the battle. And whenever you see a man who's not out in the battle, he is denying his innate ability to lead in that respect. And that's absolutely powerful. That's powerful.
That's so good. Let's just take a break real quick and we'll come right back and keep talking about this. So last night I look over at my husband and he is like laughing and super excited. And I'm like, what are you playing? And he's like, I'm playing Best Fiends.
I love Best Fiends. I'm on level 127 right now. And I love it because it has these breathtaking visuals, but not only that, but it helps to simulate my brain. So I love that you don't have to use the internet in order to play it. Like I can play it. I play it on the plane.
I love
which
it.
is amazing because I don't need the internet in order to play it. And I play it I'm either at the gym, in the sauna, and I'm playing Best Fiends. It's that way to just kind of get me to detach away from like all the work and rigmarole of just everything. It has tons of characters. I love all the strategy that is needed for all the levels. But you can really engage your brain with this game, with all the fun puzzles and all the great characters. With over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must play. You download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
So what's wild about that? I just got a vision of so many women taking those bullets in the war while their husbands are chilling and hanging out in the back. Because they're like, you want to be the leader? You want to be the head? I think you said something. I mean, the Bible does call us the weaker vessel, but I also want to note that God still looks at us as equal, but we just have different roles. You're the head, right? And I'm the helper. So I feel like sometimes women hear the weaker vessel and they feel like, well, I ain't equal to my man. No.
That's pride. I mean, we can't do nothing about all that. That's pride.
But it's teaching. It's just teaching those little things. You know what I mean? But it's just to know that you are taking bullets for me. You know what I mean? And our children and our family, that just goes to show how hard the enemy is going to attack our men. Think about it. Think about how emasculated the men have gotten over the years.
Yeah, very much so.
Think about that.
Very much so.
You know what I mean? Like the enemy, if he can attack the men that are going to be on the front line of families and communities as the head who's supposed to run ahead of battle, he's going to attack the men. So then the women feel like they have to step up and be the men.
Yeah. Facts.
And now they're out of position because they're taking bullets that they were never designed to take. So now they're strong, they're tired, and they're worn out. But you're not graced to be a man. You're graced to be you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, man, if people understood that concept, our relationships would be much better than what they are today.
Agreed.
They would be much better than what they are today. But unfortunately, people don't understand that. It's like people are out for their own, and people just, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to do mine. I'm going to do me. Then I'm going to get married and I'm going to still try to do me and I'm going to do mine. It's like, you can't get a goldfish and stay the same.
That's
you can't. Like when you get a goldfish, you're going to develop a whole new routine.
That's true.
I mean, you got to feed the goldfish. You got to clean the tank out. You got to do everything. You can't get a dog and stay the same. People still want to get married and stay the same. It's like, well, that doesn't work that way. Like some stuff
people.
has to just two single people who just had a very expensive party for everybody else that they don't remember.
And they get to have sex and that's it.
And that's it. So like you're sitting in the house, it's like, well, I like you when you're nice to me. There's really no depth. There's like, a lot of marriages are an inch deep and a mile long.
Wow.
There's no depth to it.
Wow.
There's and the depth comes with the commitment and everything else that comes in. And all that stuff is really born and bred with the choice in the concept of courtship. But man, if men and women really understood the concept of working together, and I like that you mentioned that part about, men and women, as the Bible is saying that he sees us together. He sees us as equals together. Yeah. And that means we don't have to fight each other. Like literally we can be a team, but with equality does come differences. That while we are equal, there is still a major difference between the two of us. I am a man. You are a woman. So while God sees us, he does not see you as being this person who's just supposed to just be quiet, stand in the kitchen, cook, clean, have babies, and just, don't talk. It's like in the same way, you have a voice, you have a mind, you have thoughts, you have all those things. But just like we go to Christ and we submit those things to Christ, the wife has a responsibility in her marriage, in her house. The same way a husband has a responsibility to make sure that his head is Christ. Like that ain't no easy thing to, every day I wake up, it's like, I got to have the mind of Christ. Like I'm leading my family. You got to think if I'm ahead of my family in battle, then that's a very difficult thing. Like I'm not just have an opportunity to just kind of walk around and just kind of have fun. And I got to have the mind of Christ. I got to know where my family's going at all times. And I got to know when to make hard and tough decisions as a leader. And sometimes that's not easy. When I come to you and I say, hey, we can't do that. You're like, well, why? And I'm like, well, this is just something that God's saying we just cannot do. And, you're like, well, babe, I don't understand it, but okay. I mean, I'm gracious that you do that. But at the same time, like that puts me in a position because I'm out front. That puts me in a position like, bruh, like you better hope you right. Because if you ain't right, this is going to mess up a lot of stuff. So it's difficult. I wish men and women really understood that concept.
What about the women out there that feel like my husband is not a leader? Because you're very much a strong leader, command man type personality, right? So people with you, and I always tell people that come around us, you're going to grow, you're going to change, you're going to get stronger and better under Cornelius' leadership, or you're going to run because you're not going to like the heat that comes from his strength. Now you're strong, right? But what about the woman that's married to the man that she feels like is passive? It feels like he's not a leader. So he can't run ahead of battle because the man sleep. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what about that person that feels like I have to lead because my husband won't lead? He puts all the decisions on me. My husband is a steady go man. He's just, or he's a visionary. One day he got a new idea. The next day he got another idea. What about those women that are struggling with that?
I think it's one or two things. I think number one, either the man could be a commander who just lacks courage, and he hasn't had a good example to show him what commanding looks like. I do think there's something just innate within a man to desire to command, but when you've been emasculated so much, it's kind of like the bull, who the bull who lost his balls. He's like, well, I can't. It's like, I'm not even a bull anymore. It's like all my testosterone gone, bro. Like I ain't trying to huff and puff no more. I can't hit nothing. I'm tired. Like, you are going to kill me. So it's like, I think a lot of men, they feel emasculated, but I think this is also important to say too. Everybody's a leader in their own way. There are some people who lead out front. There's some loud leaders. And then there are some who are not as loud. They're more strategic. And as I get older, I'm learning and I'm reading more about the ideas of the strategic leader, not the loud leader. Because typically the one that is screaming out front is not necessarily the leader. Now I'm learning that as I look around and I study different leadership strategies. Usually the one who has to stand up and shout and beat on his chest and say, "I'm the leader, respect me," is not the leader. It's like a man who has to scream and say, "I'm the man of this house." If you got to say you're the man of the house, then that means you're not the man of the house. It's like you're a little boy who's angry and you're looking for attention. So people have to realize that some of these men out here, they are leaders in their own right. We have to be cautious not to make them into the leader that they revere. So, a woman can't go to church and say, "I wish you can lead like so-and-so." Or, I've been watching this pastor, I've been watching this, and, I've been looking at this, and why can't you lead me like this? Or why can't you do me like this? And the dude like, bruh, that ain't me. Like to a man, oh my, I'm so glad you've never done this.
Heck no.
But I know, I talk to brothers, man, they like, "Yo, I hated you, Cornelius." And I'm like, "Yo, for what, man? Like, I'm mad dope. Why would you hate me?"
You're amazing.
Appreciate that. And they're like, because my wife for like a year and a half would like send me your sermons. Like, listen to his sermon. Do this. Like, I wish you be like this. I wish you do this. And for a man, like no man wants to run and listen to another dude like that. And like, I'm trying to learn. Like, bro, stand back. So men, we're all leading in our own way. We're all leading in our own right. And we just have to make sure that we understand that concept. So we're not constantly trying to get men to be a certain type of leader. Let that man lead how he leads. And he may be a very strategic leader. He may not need to be loud because he doesn't need to be, but he leads quietly behind. And ain't nothing wrong with that. He's still out front. He still knows what's going on. He still knows how to fight. He still knows where the bullets come from. It's just that he's not the loud commanding leader. Like, I'm the dude who's like, "I'm going to stand in the front of the line. I'm grabbing my 2 pistols and let's go, army. Tow. That's me. But there may be another dude who's like, that's like a dumb way to do it. I'm not doing it like that. I'm going to be in the control room and I'm going to create a whole strategy to send missiles. And I'm never going to go on the battlefield. I'm just going to send missiles. Like, that's a strategy.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
still in war. I'm still in the front. I still know enemies are coming, but I ain't got to get a gun. I'm just going to shoot.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this question about women. So I sit down, I talk with some of my guys, and I won't say we, I'll say they, heck, I'll say we. So like we always talk about like how women have this, you mentioned a little bit earlier about women and your expectations and how we feel like sometimes the expectations change.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want me to be this way, and then you want me to be this way, and then you want me to be this way. Like, I don't know if I'm really clear in talking about it. Am I really clear in my questioning? But what goes through y'all's head about about expectations when it comes to men?
I feel like our expectations grow and evolve and change, as yours do too, I'm sure.
So how do y'all communicate that? And how do we know?
I think the reality is both sides are not mind readers, right? And I feel like we have an expectation that our spouse or the person we're dating is going to read our mind. And that's not true. The same Heather that I was when I was 27 is not who I am when I'm now 37.
Oh, Jesus, that's a word.
I'm a whole different woman. I've grown, I've evolved. And I used to tell you, I don't need flowers. I'm cool. But it's because we were poor and I didn't want you to feel bad about having to buy flowers. You know
flowers?
I love flowers, babe.
Why you love? They die. Like, it's such a waste of money.
Babe, but that's my expectation. That's the thing. You can't tell me what my expectation shouldn't be, and that's why some women get frustrated. Like, why do I bother sharing my expectation? Because then you'll project your expectation onto me.
What if I got you fake flowers? You like those?
Get me the flowers that last forever, whatever those are. Look, you can look that up. I don't know what they call.
I ain't got no flowers that last forever.
2 years. They last. You know what they are because you recommended them to another guy at the church. And I'm looking like, oh, my husband knows about these flowers.
I mean, I may know a little bit something about them.
Exactly. So I didn't want to put pressure on our relationship for flowers or gifts or anything because we were working on something, right? And I didn't want to put that expectation. But now, hey, I would love to be surprised with some flowers. That would be so sweet, especially for Taylor and Logan to see daddy giving mommy gifts and stuff outside of major holidays. Wouldn't that be sweet?
Mm. Yeah,
you didn't know it was going to turn into that, did you?
I didn't think it was going to turn into like a whole thing for me. I didn't think that.
Okay, let's rewind.
I was really just thinking like, how do y'all communicate these expectations? Because when these expectations ultimately change, it's like, we kind of find ourselves or I'll say some men kind of find themselves in a whirlwind. It's almost like, it's like a hurricane. It's like, now you're mad because the expectation changed, but how did I know
that it changed? Well, I think if you're not talking to that person, you're not going to know what the expectations are. I read a study that said couples talk 20 minutes a week, 20 minutes a week, face to face, uninterrupted to each other. And this isn't talking about family. This isn't talking about kids. This isn't talking about future. It's talking about like, how are you doing today? Like that normal, just basic everyday. How are you? How are you feeling? And one thing I love about you is you ask me, Heather, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Like, what's the state of how you feel right now? Like having those conversations are important, but the study shows that it's not happening. So if all your conversation is about the kids, all your conversation is about work, ministry, your businesses. When are you taking a chance to talk about your expectations? What I like, how like that trip I want you to take me on to Florence. You can plan it whenever you want. On that? We are. And all of our podcast
You're not letting
friends,
it go, are you?
No. I have accountability with all of my girls because I know the guys won't be any accountability, but all of my girls,
they're on my side. Bro.
They're rooting for me and they're like, take her to Florence, surprise her.
They can come up. They can start an account. That's what they can do.
They can do a GoFundMe.
They can do a GoFundMe.
Take the Lindseys to Florence.
Everybody be doing GoFundMes now. But I mean, praise the Lord. You can continue.
What I'm just saying is not being afraid to say that. But there's a flip side because some women feel like if I tell him what I want, now he's going to feel pressured. Here I go. I got to do this other thing to make you happy, to make you satisfied. So for women, it's like, why even bring up what I want? Because you're just going to like be all stressed out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
That last
let's
part.
take a little break and then come right back.
Part.
Let's address that.
The last part kind of touchy. No touchy.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Talk about it then, bro.
No, you talk about it.
Oh man. Oh wait.
Because when we bring it up, y'all complain. You don't know what we want. When we tell you what we want, you guys label it as nagging.
No, it's not necessarily nagging. I think a lot of it, and I'm not saying all men, I'm not saying all women have this different perspective, but a lot of times men, we're fixers.
Yeah.
We think in terms of problem, process, solution.
Yeah.
A lot of times women think in terms of process, problem, and maybe a solution.
Maybe. Depends.
But you talk out the process, but you're not really looking for a solution.
Not always.
You're just talking out the process. You're just like, oh my goodness. So you'll never believe what just happened to me today. I went to the gym and blah, 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 blah happened. And could you believe that I saw this and da, 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 da. So we're sitting there and we're listening. We're like, okay, what are you talking about? And it's like, oh yeah. Cause we
just want to know that we're heard. Cause sometimes y'all don't say anything. You just look at us.
Because we don't, I mean, in our head, we're trying to think in our head when we're looking at, we're staring at you, eyes wide open, mouth open, like at some point looking dumb is the reason because we're like, what's the problem?
Right.
Do you have a problem? Like when I'm talking to you, remember when we first got married, you'd be like, hey, so how was your day? I'd say, what'd I say?
Long.
And you'd be like, okay, so what does long mean? It was a long day. So how was work? It was long. It was stressful. And you're like, but, and for me, I was like, well, I don't have a problem. If I don't have necessarily a problem, then I don't need to share it with you. I don't need to process anything because I'm not sharing this with you.
I never knew this. After 10 years of marriage, that's what that meant.
I mean, I don't have a problem. So I don't need to share a problem with you. If I had a problem, if I came home and I was like, hey, that's why when I walk in the house and I'm like, hey, why didn't this and this happen? Or why didn't we do this and this? Because I'm automatically saying I had a problem. Now I'm trying to process it through communication. And all I want is a solution. And then when you come back, or when the woman comes back with, that's all you want to do. You just always want to bring me your issues. And you just want to talk to me about this. You never care about how I'm feeling. In that moment, we're like, take you out of this. Like, I'm not really dealing with you.
Yeah.
I want to deal with the problem first. Let's process this. Let's come up with a solution here.
Crazy.
Then I can ask you how you doing. But right now, I don't really care how you doing. Not like that. Like right now, we got to deal with the problem. Let's get with the problem. Get with the solution. So,
and when you ask me about my day, I go through this whole, I talk to so-and-so, and can you believe this happened?
It's a helicopter mentality. You're helicopter.
Yeah.
It's a helicopter. It's like women, and I'm not all women, but it's a helicopter. It's like when you talk, it's like, you just circle. Like you just kind of circle.
Some men circle too.
Some men, I've sat down on some lunches,
land a plane.
Bro. I'm like, bro, land this plane. Like, like land it. Just land the sucker. But when, because a lot of men think in terms of, a problem, process, solution, because we're searching for a solution. When we hear women say things like, this is what I need, then it's almost like, hold up. Mm-hmm. You would almost think, and you'd almost imagine, like, you should be happy to know that, because like, this is what I need and I'm giving you my solution. But for a man, it's like, hold up. Now you're trying to say that I'm insufficient and I'm incompetent, as though I didn't know that's what you needed. And now you're adding something else to me because I'm not the one who figured out that this is what you needed. And I probably knew this what you needed, but why do you need it right now? And it doesn't make sense that you need it. And so it can, for y'all may not understand, but for me and for men I talk to, it sounds completely normal and natural.
So not normal to us. We're like, what is, like, I just want to share my heart with you. And I want to hear your heart.
God, heart.
Like, I just want to know how you feel.
Remember
about
when you used to tell me that? Like, when you used to say to me, like, babe, I just want to know how you feel. Like that, like, my skin would crawl.
Aww.
My skin would crawl. I'm like, why do you want to know how I feel? I always tell you all the time, I'm like, babe, you don't want to know how I feel, because if you knew it, you probably wouldn't like me anymore.
You would say that all the time. And I'm like, no, I want to know the messy, dirty,
no, you don't.
Smelly you.
No,
but I feel like I've learned that person.
Oh, yeah, you know that person now.
I know that person now.
Most def.
But for some men, I feel like it's like the hidden thing. Like, I don't want you to know who I really am with my guys. Like, I feel like guys talk differently than girls do. Like, guys be like, yeah, man, what's up with them girls? But you married.
Hold up.
But you married with multiple kids.
Hold
That's not how men talk.
Hold up.
That's how men talk.
Hold up. Slow up.
And y'all might be joking, but y'all still talk crazy. And women would never talk that way. We never be like,
that is a lie. That's a lie.
I don't get with my girls like, what's up with them men?
You don't, because you're Heather Lindsey.
Whoa.
You don't, because you're Heather Lindsey.
Okay,
but
what is that supposed to mean?
These sisters who listening right now, of all different persuasions,
not my girls.
Of all different persuasions and backgrounds and
they
ethnicities.
Don't talk about other men when they're married.
Please, don't even. I just going to believe the best over my girls. Well,
but they would never.
I'm gonna speak the truth about these women. They talking straight trash when they get together in their little mommies groups where they get with the kids hanging out in the mall. I mean, it's everywhere. If you notice, even if you see like the memes and you see stuff like that, where you see, wives who are like sitting down and their kid is like playing in the little jumping area at the mall, and she's looking and like, oh my God, that buff guy right there. It's like, it's this fantasy world that she wants to live in, because she goes home to a man who don't talk to her. So yes, when women get together, they are having conversations. They drink, they sipping, dipping, and talking.
So my friends don't.
Heather, you really ain't got no friends.
Well, dang.
You really ain't got no friends. Let's call a spade a spade.
Hold on.
Let's call a spade a spade.
I have friends.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends.
All right.
Babe.
Let's call a spade a spade.
I have so many friends.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you got some that you've had since college. And
I would say my best friend just visited last week. My best friend of 20 years.
Yeah.
All right. And then Nadra, she comes over just about every other day.
Okay.
And then Mary. I have so many friends. I could go on and on.
You just named like 3 people.
Lola, Rachel, Mary Jane, Sybil. I could go on and on about all my girlfriends. Katie, April, Agatha, Sydney. I could go on and on, baby. I had so many friends.
I mean, but you have to understand, a lot of the people who you're naming are people who like are people who like go to the church, or people who I don't know. I don't know.
Wait, I want to dig deeper into that. You really think I don't have friends? Let me just break it down to you, baby. I don't hang out with my friends a lot throughout the week because Mama Bear's tired. The kids.
I don't hang out with my friends. Some of my friends don't even live in the same state.
Baby.
What?
But I feel like for men, like you'll go hang out with Austin and Tim, and y'all have your little man time, and y'all cut up.
Absolutely, we're doing it today.
Go with Des. You'll go hang out with your buddies
because he loves to eat, and I do too.
Right, but babe, I personally don't have the physical energy to do that because, for example, like Roman, he just had a total meltdown when I came down here.
Who cares? Leave him at home. That's what I do. When he cries, when I leave, like, hey, bro, I'll be back.
So it's not that I don't have friends. It's just I don't have a lot of energy to hang out throughout the week.
During my family time, unless y'all need me earlier, my family time begins. I'm at home every day by 4:30 p.m.
I agree.
And then from 4:30 until I'm all y'all.
Of course.
But from the time I wake up till 4:30, if I'm on work, if I'm on workout, if I'm gonna hang out with my friends, I'm doing that. I'm going to work out. I'm going to hang out with my boys. I'm going to shop. I'm going to do something. I'm gonna work some. I'm gonna do what I do in between that 4:30 time. And that's the same way with you. Like, I feel like we put up the proper parameters to be able to give you that opportunity, give you that time to go chill. But you be saying in the house.
Because I'm working at the house.
You got like 4 assistants.
Babe, I know I have 2. I have 2 assistants.
Okay.
But I'm working. I'm working out.
You got 3 assistants.
I'm spending time with the Lord.
Okay.
I just feel, and I'm also a homebody. So I do have friends, baby. Don't say I don't have friends.
Ciao. Okay.
I just don't hang out with them all week. I be tired. Men are different. You guys are wired differently. You have this emotional detachment when it comes to kids' emotions.
Emotional detachment.
You guys do. Like, for example, Roman upstairs gave me this sad little weepy face that he can give me. And I literally was like, do we have to record the podcast? Because I just want to nurse you and be with you. And you were like, he's fine. And you walked down the stairs.
He is fine. He's playing you. He's playing. I'm a man. I know the game. He's playing you. He's playing you.
He's my sweet boy.
No, this dude is playing you.
He's 20 months, baby.
Who cares? He's playing you. He's playing you for real.
I feel like men have an empty nester mentality at birth.
Look, I'm ready to get these little crumb snatches up out of my house.
See, it's different. I
am ready.
And then I got to figure out dinner. I got to make sure dinner's ordered. We have all the right groceries. It's like, I feel like I have a lot to do here. So it's hard for me to get up and just leave. And like, I have a wax appointment later and I'm like, dang, do I have time to go? Like, because there's things I need to do here at the house. I need to make sure the house is in order. You know what I mean? And then obviously I work from home and stuff.
My mental health is worth its weight in gold now. So I'd be like, look, I need to get with my friends just to go laugh and cut up and have fun, not be pastor and just go and have fun.
I agree.
Like, just lean back, laugh for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Do what I do and whatever. And talk about everything that we talk about as men.
I think the older that
But the whole idea here is that the women are talking about it too. I actually believe that the women's conversations are just they're probably, if not as raunchy, probably more raunchy than the men's.
No way.
Absolutely.
Baby, I'm a woman. But
different type of woman.
I just feel like you think that people don't have those conversations around me because of how I am.
Yeah, because you saved.
Baby, you're saved too.
I am. I'm saved. Oh, I'm saved.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to heaven.
Yeah, you're going to heaven.
I'm definitely going to heaven. I'm saved. But you.
What does that mean? Can you explain what that means to me?
You a different type of saved.
No, explain.
You a different type of saved, baby.
What does that mean?
Just a different type.
Can you explain what that means?
I ain't got no type.
Baby, that's a song.
It might be. And that shows our complete differences. And that's completely fine. But you know what? That's what I honestly, that's what I love about you. I love our differences. I have learned. I do. I love our differences because if we were both this way, man, our household would be treacherous, be ruthless.
Yeah.
It would be. It'd be treacherous and ruthless. I mean, I feel like if I married somebody who is exactly like me, we would probably both be in jail.
I think so. I agree.
You're probably both be in jail.
I think you need somebody opposite. And I need you.
Yeah.
Because you're totally opposite than me. So it brings some
fun.
I'm so fun. I'm so adventurous. I'm the adventure one out of us, baby. What do you mean?
I just went hunting. I just went quail hunting.
I'm so proud of you.
No.
So when we go to Cabo, Are you gonna like get on boats?
I don't know about getting on no boat though, bro.
You told me last night you would get on a boat.
I didn't tell you
I'm about
nothing.
to start recording you. I remember
didn't tell
everything
you
that
a
you say.
doggone thing
I
about getting on no
study
boat.
you, okay?
I
I
didn't tell
know
you about getting on no
exactly
boat.
what you say.
Look, water is different. If I got a gun in the woods, that means that something coming at me. But I can't control water.
Baby, we're gonna
What?
be in Cabo.
Okay.
We'll get life jackets.
I don't care about no life jacket. People on the Titanic had life jackets and still drown.
So we're supposed to just go and sit on the beach and that's it.
I'm not sitting on I don't do beach. I don't do beach. I hate sand. I don't do beach.
So everybody listening, all of my vacations for the rest of my life are going to be traveling on planes for long periods of time to sit in hotel rooms.
We never sit in a hotel room. We do what we love to do. We go shopping, we go eating, and we usually find a spa. That's what we do.
Baby,
and we love doing it. And we go to the pool.
That's what you
But we
like
hang-
to do.
but we hang out at
I
the
want to
pool the
do
whole
some
time.
adventure.
Wait, I never tell you can't do anything that's adventurous.
So I'm gonna get on a boat by myself
I don't see why not. Why wouldn't you go get on a boat by yourself?
because
I don't want to get on a boat. I just don't. I don't. That's not exciting to me. To like go out in the middle of the sea and no, it's like to go out in the middle of the ocean. Like them boats be setting on fire. Like things be happening. You can have a whale come in and capsize that thing and turn the whole thing over. And then the sharks. Whales and sharks they work together.
There's been a seed of fear planted in you.
You ever seen the movie Finding Nemo?
I command that
Have
spirit
you ever seen the movie Finding
of
Nemo?
fear to go.
Have you ever
in
seen the
Jesus'
movie
name.
Finding Nemo?
No.
We are
No.
fish are food. You never seen the movie Finding Nemo?
No.
That movie is prophetic. It's pathetic too, but it's also prophetic. I'm telling you, it's something about the water. I think the whales and the sharks they work together. The whales like, look, I'll capsize for fun. And the dolphins come and they laugh at
Baby,
you.
God has given us authority and dominion over everything, the sea, everything. So we can take authority over
go out
it.
there and walk on it. Go out there and walk on that pool.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be like Peter.
Go out there, Peter. Go walk on that water.
This is why people want us to record this video so they can see our faces. I go walk on that water.
Go walk on it then.
At least I tried. Will you try?
No.
Exactly.
You know why I ain't gonna try? Because it defines. See, if you Peter, I'm Thomas.
You're Definitely Thomas.
Thomas wasn't. I don't think Thomas was a doubter. Thomas was a realist, and that's the reason why I'm in this stage of my life where I'm having to learn how to trust God.
Yeah.
Because I am a realist. I'm like, no, you can't be Jesus. Jesus died. I saw him, body gone in the tomb. Don't believe you. You a liar. Get away from me.
But
Show
Jesus
me your hands.
walked with Thomas.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
I've walked with the Lord. I've walked with the
Yeah.
Lord for years. And still I'm like, no, don't believe you. Can't trust you. Still got to have my own life. You're playing games with me. No, you've taken too long. We'll build my own golden calf. Like it's serious. I'm a pastor.
Right.
And I have to, I'm in a place right now where I have to cease from my labor and rest
Yeah.
and actually trust God. And every time that I've done that, everything has happened. Like, even buying our house, it was like when we stopped trying and we finally said, I give up.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
It's like when we stop, it's like every time we stop trying to make something happen, it just happened just like that.
Yeah.
And God was like, finally, you trust me.
Yeah.
And then I get back into that moment will happen and I get back into, I don't, oh God, I'm gonna still try to do it in my own way. So, but anyway, we should be talking about men and women and I'm up here talking about trust and knowledge.
I love how authentic this podcast is. Like it's not all these episodes. It's not like structured. We just kind of flow with the Lord. So I feel like that's what some people maybe needed to hear, baby.
You need to trust God.
Yeah, we need to. I feel like it's this growth thing of like exercise. You go to the gym, you're lifting up 10 pounds and then it gets easier. And then it's 20, 30, 40, 50. And then you're trusting God in ways you've never even imagined.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before we wrap, I want us to just share a couple things we have going on. I think it's a great place to do it. The first thing I want to talk about is 365 with Heather. So I've been doing this daily devotional and every single day I send an email out to this group. We do challenges like the month of February. We're exercising at least 3 times a week. So I have women that have not exercised, babe, in years. And they are exercising for the first time. We're being accountable to each other. So it's 365withheather.com. And I want to encourage you guys to check it out.
Yeah. And you got the Pinky Promise Conference coming up.
PinkyPromiseConference.com. I'm so excited about it. It is July 30th through August 2nd. So you're tuned in and you want to come and just get encouraged and built up, come to our conference. It's in Atlanta, Georgia, PinkyPromiseConference.com.
And the cool thing is I know I said I wasn't doing the men's conference anymore.
That's my baby.
But things change. But so we're going to do the men's conference. And the cool thing is about the conference is that my wife and I, we're big on family. So the women will be upstairs. The men will be downstairs. And then we'll have an area for children. So that means, we really wanted to have families and think about the families and put them in mind. So it's like, this gives you a weekend because the men's conference and women's conference are at the same exact time.
Yeah.
This gives you an opportunity for the entire family to get fed. So while the women are receiving upstairs, the men will be receiving downstairs. And then the men and women can come back together and they can have you basically send your kids and, you both can make a vacation, a weekend out of it because you'll be in the same rooms. You don't have to man goes this weekend, woman goes this weekend. You both come at the same time. Then you get a break from each other, which is also really good. So it's going to be good. And it's July the what?
30th through August 2nd.
Yeah, July 30th through August 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh, you push it into my sabbatical month. That's 2 days of my sabbatical month. I don't know if I can do it anymore. All right.
I'll preach for you.
Hey.
But you know what else is happening in August?
What?
Our vow renewal in Phuket, Thailand.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's our I Still Do vow renewal. Do you guys care about those?
Nope.
So you're just doing it for me.
Yep. I didn't care about the wedding. Remember I told you, I said, I don't want none of these people to come.
You did.
I don't care nothing about them people. We literally threw a big party for a bunch of people. That's all we did. We threw a big party for a bunch of people.
We don't even talk to them anymore. That's what's sad.
I had what? 8 guys who stood with me, and I only talked to one of them.
So I still talk to all of mine, but 2. I added the 2 because you kept adding guys. I was like,
I don't even want to get into that, but yeah, I did. I added guys.
But if we could have done things differently, I think we would have gone destination.
We tell every couple now to do a destination.
Heck
wedding.
yeah.
Destination weddings are better. But anyway, we're wrapping up. So y'all,
it's Valentine's Day, isn't it?
It's Valentine's Day?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know Valentine's Day.
So happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And babe, what are you getting me for Valentine's Day?
Well, right now we are in Cabo. So I'm probably giving you me wrapped up.
I would love that with some whipped cream and fudge and raw
cacao.
cacao.
We on the
sorry.
podcast.
Sorry.
Give you. I'm gonna wrap myself up in a green smoothie. Wrap myself up in kale.
That's such a good idea.
Child, no.
That would be so sexy.
That's
to
nasty.
see you rolling in kale.
Kale, you need help.
I'm kidding.
You need help. You and your vegan sisters and brothers. All right. Y'all, we really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share.
And
make sure you follow us on Instagram. We are Life with the Lindseys on Instagram. So that's at Life with the Lindseys. This is Cornelius.
And I'm Heather L. Love. So tag us, you guys. If you listen to this, tell us what you love about it and tag us in your post. Also, follow, did you already say our Instagram?
Yep, you was on your phone. I definitely said it.
Sorry, I was responding to your assistant. Exactly. I'm a helper. I'm just here to help. Love you guys.
Bye.